Hey guys, Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Hope you guys are enjoying the recipes I've been sharing with you guys. Today we're making stewed oxtail with butter beans. Classic Jamaican dish. Enjoyed throughout the Caribbean and I guess just about everywhere now. Butter beans adds a distinct flavor to this as well, and it thickens up the sauce quite a bit as well. So here we go. We're going to be stewing these oxtails. This is the final dish here, but I'll show you guys step by step how to do this. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel. It's very appreciated. And guys, do leave your comments below if there's any sort of questions or anything you have. Feel free to leave me your questions. If you're looking for more recipes, Caribbean-based recipes, remember to check out, and do tell your friends to go to CaribbeanPot.com. Let's get cooking, guys. I've got a couple pounds of oxtails here that I rinsed off with some, I think it was about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. You can also use vinegar or lime juice, whatever you have. Rinse it off, get any sort of grit or anything off it, and then rinse it off with cool water and pat it dry. We're going to be browning these in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil to start off with. Then we're going to be adding, and here we go, we have some fresh thyme, a Scotch bonnet pepper, some parsley, green onions or scallions, a couple carrots, 2 tomatoes. We're going to need about, guessing about 4 cloves of garlic, some allspice. We're going to use maybe about half a teaspoon of allspice, 1 large onion, a can of lima beans, or as it's known in the Caribbean in some places, butter beans. And basically we're going to add some salt. I think we're going to use maybe about a half a teaspoon of salt for this recipe, as well as about 5 cups of water to slow cook the oxtails until it gets tender. Now if you're using a pressure cooker, it will cook a lot faster, so that's an option for you guys as well. So these are the ingredients here, guys, that we're going to be using. What I don't have here is salt and black pepper. Black pepper, we're going to just maybe about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper in here as well. But here we go. So in about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, what I'm doing here on a medium heat, I'm browning here all the pieces of oxtail. What I'm doing, you guys will notice, it's a fairly wide pan. However, I'm not putting them all in at the same time because I don't want them to overcrowd the pan, because then they sweat and they release a lot of liquid. All I want to do here is brown them, so I'm browning them in small batches. I'm going to brown a batch, remove it, add another batch, and then I'm going to brown that as well. While that is browning, what I did was I prepared the other ingredients. Here I have 1 onion that I chopped up roughly, 3 cloves of garlic that I gave it a rough chop as well. Here we've got the 2 carrots, the thyme, 2 tomatoes, the green onion, Scotch bonnet pepper, and some parsley. So all of these ingredients will be going in there at some point, but for now we're just browning the pieces of oxtail. It took about 15 to 20 minutes to brown all the pieces of oxtail. What I did next, since the pot was very dry, I added another tablespoon of oil, and then I added the garlic and the onions. After this softens up for about 3-4 minutes, I'm going to add back the brown pieces of oxtail that I have here back to the pot, and then I'm going to top it off with all of the vegetables that we chopped up here and the herbs, as well as the 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Give it a good stir, and then we're going to top it up with about 5 cups of water. In the pot here, what I've got now is everything except the allspice, the butter beans, black pepper, or salt. I'm going to be adding those in a couple minutes, but I just want to let you guys know what stage we're at here. So we're going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice powder, about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, as well as about a 1/2 tablespoon of salt. we're gonna then top that off with about 5 cups of water, just enough water to cover everything. You're gonna put the lid on there, bring it up to a boil, and then turn it all the way down to a gentle simmer for about 2 hours. Now, this is where if you had a pressure cooker, everything would be a lot faster, but we're gonna do this nice and slow to release all the flavors of the thyme and the scallions, the garlic, the onion, everything else, the allspice. After about 2 hours, that's when we're gonna add the can of butter beans to it, and we're gonna cook it for another 20 minutes or so. If you're using dried butter beans, now is the time you'll have to put it in so it'll slow cook as well. It's been cooking now for about 2 hours or so, just a little over 2 hours on a simmer. What I'm going to do now is just remove the lid so you guys can take a peek at it. And this is it. Notice how it's thickened up now. You'll notice how rich and brown color that I have here. I cheated a little because I wanted it to be a little bit darker. I added maybe about 1/4 teaspoon of browning to it. Now, this is totally optional. It will not change the taste of it. All it will do is give it a darker, richer sort of caramel color. The final step is, again, that was totally optional. You don't need that browning to be added to there. What I've done is I've drained the can of butter beans into a strainer here, and I just gave it a quick rinse. I don't like the sort of thick, briny solution it's packaged in the can, so I tend to rinse that off whenever I'm using any sort of canned peas or beans or anything like that. And all we're gonna do is then just add it to the pot here. Now, since this is canned, it will break apart fairly easy, and we don't want it to break apart when we're stirring it here. So, being very gentle, I'm just gonna stir it in gently, put the lid back on there, and let it cook for another maybe 20 minutes or so, just to infuse the beans with the flavor of the oxtail that we've been stewing for the past couple hours. After that, after a couple hours, the gravy should be nice and thick and ready to eat. It's now been cooking for about 20 minutes since I added the canned butter beans to it. There's a nice thick gravy. It's going to go perfect with peas and rice, even some brown rice. Any sort of rice dish this works very well with. In case you guys were wondering, when I spoke earlier about the browning, this is it here, and basically it's called gravy browning. It's a Caribbean style, and all it does is it gives it a darker, richer color. Again, like I said, it's totally optional.